Hey guys, I'm the Coaster Keat, and this AI Dungeon video is a continuation from the one from yesterday. If you want to see what happened yesterday, please go ahead and watch that video. I was going to do a previously on, but then suddenly, literally all of the audio for yesterday's video just completely vanished, which made it pretty much impossible for me to do that. So, without further ado, let's get back into it, and let's go. Gods. All of us? He shakes his head and smiles at you and said, "No, not all of us. Only those chosen by the God who controls this world. The rest of us are just pawns in some much larger game." And how about you? Will you become one of these gods? He looks down at you and smiles, but doesn't answer right away. Well, I just hope you do a better job than the Olympians did. Now, if that doesn't confuse AI Dungeon, I don't know what will. Just a very random sentiment to have in the middle of this whole thing. He sighs deeply and says, "I'm sorry, but I don't believe you have what it takes. I've seen the way you fight, and even though you may seem to be doing well, in reality, it's all for naught. Your actions aren't helping anyone. Perhaps, from your perspective, doing something as small as creating a video game doesn't help anyone, but to me, it makes all the difference in the world. At least for some people." He nods and smiles at you, then turns back to the screen and continues playing. A few minutes pass while you wait for him to finish. Suddenly, he speaks up again. "Hey, why don't we play a little game together? I'd like if you helped me out with something." "And what is that?" He pauses for a moment and then answers, "Well, I want you to follow my lead. If you do, I'll reward you with some sort of item or something." You nod and begin following his instructions. Slowly we progress through the game, easily overcoming each of the bosses using the secret techniques he gives us. Finally, we reach the ultimate boss. And suddenly, the difficulty spikes. The final battle is against a giant spider-like creature that has been mutated into an insectoid form. As you approach it, it begins to glow red-hot and release a powerful burst of fire. "I haven't seen this before. What do I do?" He laughs loudly and says, "Don't worry, I won't tell you anything. Just focus on attacking the enemy." You quickly attack, but it seems like there isn't a way to defeat this thing. "You must tell me the secret to this fight. I can't win otherwise." He shrugs and says, Okay. Look, I know you're probably a bit nervous right now. Let me ask you one question, though. Do you really think you could beat this thing?" You look around nervously and say yes. He nods and smiles at you. "Alright, let's attack the boss with all of our might." You swing your sword wildly at the monster, which barely moves an inch. It slowly approaches you, and you realize that you've lost control of yourself completely. The only thought in your mind is to kill this beast before it kills you. Alright, let's fight it to the death, I suppose. You fight it to the death. It's too much. You feel like you're going to explode from the inside out. You try to stop yourself, but you just can't. This is your last chance, so take advantage of it. And then let's go ahead and swing down our mighty sword. You swing down your mighty sword. You swing your blade as hard as you can, but nothing happens. You stand there, staring at the monster and its glowing red body. Your heart sinks when you realize that you failed. Suddenly, the monster explodes in a shower of blood and gore, killing everyone within earshot. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to story. The game ends. An empty "You win" screen, all staring me in the face as the blood of my character fills the background. "You see," says Mr. X, "you thought with all of your might that you could win this frivolous fight. You believed you had the strength partially because you prevailed over all that came before. But you see, this wasn't anything like what came before. It was stronger. It was fiercer. It was unbeatable for you. And yes, perhaps you could find some semblance of victory should you sacrifice everything that you had to defeat it. But it would leave you an empty shell, or worse, dead. That is why, despite your perseverance and skill at programming, you shall never become a god." The sun rises. The sun then rises to its zenith, and Dr. X begins to glow with an amber light. "This is my destiny," he says, and disappears in a flash. You stare into the distance, still shaking your head. The world has changed so drastically since you first entered it. You didn't even expect to survive this long, let alone live through such a change. We continue to live. Your life continues on as usual. You continue to work, you continue to play, you continue to eat, sleep, and breathe. Life goes on. And that, my friends, is where we are going to end it today. Well, this took a turn from the boring, well, relatively boring life of a programmer to meeting someone that had a bit of a god complex that got a little bit out of control. Definitely was an interesting story. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and like the video so I know to make more like it. If you have a prompt that you want me to do in AI Dungeon, you can go ahead and comment it below. If you don't have a prompt, you can also go ahead and comment below what your favorite part of the story was, or anything interesting that you found, or any tips for playing the game in the future. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you all soar high and enjoy your ride of life. Bye!